Hello and welcome to IELTS online classes with Banke. My name is Banke Adewusi and I am the professional teacher. I help my learners achieve their learning goals by breaking down hard concepts into simple, easy to understand learning points in a fun, relaxed, engaging, and learner-focused atmosphere. In today's lesson, you're going to learn the tricks and tips to picking the correct answer in section 1 of the listening module. So the listening module is the same whether you are taking the general training or the academic training, and it is very possible to achieve a band 9 in the listening module. As you see on the screen, that is the result of one of my students who had a band 9 in her reading listening module. Here's another student who is saying thank you for taking part in the teaching on the IELTS examination. This student eventually went on to score a band 8.5. Here's another student got a band 8.0 in the listening module. So you see, and here's another student who also got a band 8.5. And at first attempt, my desire is for you to write the IELTS examination and pass it at one sitting. If you are a first-time test taker, make sure that you subscribe to this channel and share to those who are also first-time test takers like you. And if you are a returning subscriber, do ensure that you go through the previous lessons you've missed so that you can get prepared for your examination. So you see, it's important that you prepare before going into the examination, and that is the goal of these online classes with Banke. If you missed the live lectures on Zoom, this is what we talked about, and by the time you are done watching this video, you would have learned one or two things to help you pick the correct answer in section 1. So the first thing is that you should read the questions before the tape starts playing. Make sure you read the questions before the tape starts playing. It is important. Most times students don't listen. They don't take heed to that instruction. You know, there is the speaker who says you have some time to go through the questions. When that speaker says that, you should spend that time doing exactly that and not something else. So make sure you read the questions before the tape starts playing. In the example we considered, you can request the question paper. It's posted onto our WhatsApp group, and I will link it below so that you can take the test yourself too. The question says suggestions for improvement. Suggestions for improvement, and the answer says along the line when you read. Here's the question. Let me zoom it out. Look at that. The questions is a transport survey, and we've gone through question 1. Question 1, you hear the speaker speaking with a travel agent, and the question 1 is asking about the name. So the speaker, look at the audio scripts. So the interviewer says, "Excuse me," and you see, yes. Where is the answer? In the example, the first part of the sentence, you have the example given there. Let me point to the area where you have the answer for question 1. Answer for question 1 is talking about the surname, and look at it here. Hardy. Can you see Hardy? So that's Hardy. Louisa Hardy. But when they spelt it, you will hear HRRDIE. So the R sound is not like we will call it in Nigeria as Nigerians. The R sound, some students wrote I, some students wrote some students wrote I, but you need to pay attention to the sounds, especially the accents. So the issue here for some students who didn't get this question right was the accent. What you can do is that when you consistently listen, when you consistently do the practice, you saw one of my students said the practice paid off. It's not just practicing, but practicing wisely so that you will be able to get yourself tuned to that accent if you have issues with the accent. Let's go to the next question. The next question says dash white stone road. Now, what reading the question ahead does for you is that it helps you to be primed so that when the answer is approaching, you will know. But if you have not read the question ahead, you will not know when the answer is approaching. Look at where question 2 is. And also take time to go through the audio scripts. Every Cambridge textbook have the audio scripts at the back of the textbook. You should go there and read the audio scripts so that you can learn from your mistakes where you have fallen short, and when next you take another test you will not be making the same mistake, right? So here you see question 2. The the interviewer says, what is the postcode? And the postcode is the interviewer says, is the postcode GT7. Look at the interviewer says, is the postcode GT7. Look at, and some students wrote GT7, but that's a question, and the Louisa answered it's actually GT8 272LC. That tells you that that's another one. Another thing is that at a point when you are listening, they will say something. They will now say it's actually, or no, it is not that. So if you have written the previous answer, you will be wrong, because they now went on to say no, that's not the case. It is actually GT8 2LC. So this is it's important that you read the questions before the tape starts playing, because that is what will help you to know when the answer is approaching. Then you take note of points where they use negations, as is the case here when the interviewer says, is the postcode GT7, and Louisa says no, it's actually GT8. So if you had written GT7 like some of my students had done, then you will be wrong. So be mindful about that. Okay, so let's continue for question. Let's continue for question. So let's continue and moving on to question 6. You see, the interviewer was asking what suggestions Louisa would have. So when you listen, you will hear the interviewer say something like, in this last section, I'd like you to give us some ideas about the facilities and arrangements in the city for getting to and from work. Any suggestions you have for improvements? So that's where you have this highlighted. You would definitely hear it. Suggestions for improvement. So once you hear that, you know that the answer is approaching. So what did Louisa say? Amongst many other things that you will hear, because you have read the questions before the tape started playing, it will help you to know when the answer is approaching. So here is what Louisa said, you should also be able to separate the preambles and all the previous information to listen to the exact word, because you will see the instruction before the section. The instruction will say one word and or a number. So if you have read the question ahead, it will help you to listen and be able to sieve out the correct word. Here you see, well, something I've thought about, that's Lisa talking, for some time, is that when I do work and I'm doing a later shift, I think the lighting should be better. So that tells you that they are talking about the fact that the lighting should be better, and the correct word will be what? Better. I think, can you see? I think the lighting should, you see, and I'm doing a later shift. I think the lighting should be better. So the word is lighting, because the bullet points here, see the bullet point. The bullet point says, see the bullet point. The bullet point here says better, right? And here you have better too. Can you see? Here you have better too. Here you have better being mentioned by Louisa. So that tells you that that's the correct answer. Now, another thing is that you should listen for synonyms or paraphrases. Listen for synonyms. Look at synonyms. Listen for synonyms or paraphrases. Listen for synonyms or paraphrases. This is very important, and a very good example is seen in the next question, which says, I don't think there are enough. And really, you will not expect to hear word for word what you are reading on the question paper. You see? So this one says, and I would look at the audio script. Let's look at the audio script. Look at the audio script. That's for more frequent. In the audio script, you see they were still talking about suggestions for improvement. Say, and I don't think there are enough trains. That's why I don't use them. Okay, you have to wait so long. If you had not read the question ahead and listened for paraphrases or synonyms, you will probably be waiting to hear more frequent as used in the question. That's the point I'm trying to make. You'll probably be waiting to hear more frequent. So you need to listen for paraphrases and synonyms. In this case, paraphrase was used. And another example here is for listening for synonyms. I said, don't expect to hear word for word what you see on the question paper. Don't expect to hear word for word what you see on the question paper. Here is another one. Having parking places for bicycles. That's question 8. And you can see that bicycles was used in the question. Bicycles and bikes are synonyms. See, bicycles was used here, whereas the bike was used when the person was talking. You hear bikes, right? bikes are synonyms to bicycles. And also, one thing that tells you the answer is approaching is that you would hear there are certain words that you can't have synonyms for, and those ones will remain like that. So if you have read the question ahead, look at an example is places. You can see places is in the question, and you can also hear places. So these are ways to let you know that the answers are approaching and you are in the right place where to pick the word from, because a lot of things will be said, and if you have read the question ahead, that will help you to know when the answer is approaching, and to know that during as they are speaking, you are in the right place to pick the correct word. Look at another one here. It says being able to use a dash at work. So I think I'd need a shower somewhere at work. You can see. So the answer here is shower. The answer here is shower, because she was saying that she thinks she will need to use a shower at work, isn't it? She will need a shower. You need, and then in the paraphrase was being able to use. You did not actually hear her say, so I would need to be able to use, but she said, so I think I'd need a shower, right? Now let's move on to the next question. And then another tip that I will give you here is that you should read the questions ahead before the tape starts playing. I can't overemphasize on this enough. Read the questions before the tape starts playing. Ahead, very important. Now, here is the opportunity to have cycling dash on such busy roads. So when you hear about cycling on such busy roads, you could hear on such busy roads exactly as it is in the question. And then she says, I think I'd like to see you offering training for that, and then continues. So the right word here would be training, right? So it is absolutely necessary that you take time to go through the audio scripts when you have completed the test, so that you will know where you have made mistakes and avoid such in the next test when you practice. Again, it's very possible for you to pass this exam at first sitting. Here is one student who wrote and passed at first sitting only, getting the desired band score in all the modules. Here's another student. Look at this student, you would see. And this student just did it at first attempt, getting a band 8.0. Here's another student who also had the band 8.0. So you see, it is very possible, provided you get the right training and the right method towards getting right preparations towards achieving your desired band scores. If you are yet to subscribe, please kindly do so, and you will be the first to get notified when I release the next video. I am IELTS-Banke Adewuside, professional teacher. I help you achieve your learning goals by breaking down hard concepts into simple, easy to understand learning points. I'll see you in the next video. Do ensure you like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you in the next video. Cheerios.